Hi guys, welcome back. A little bit of a short story for you now, and this all started probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, thereabouts. I was out on a morning ride, or a morning mission as I would call them, on the TSE 300. And towards the back end of the ride, the bike started running funny. It was like a switch. It was like the engine was being switched on and off. And I was about 3 or 4 miles from home, and I just managed to get the bike back. It was like really hit and miss. Really hit and miss. Was, it wasn't anything like carburation problems. With carburation, you're either running out of fuel or it's bogging or whatever. It was just like on off and jerking. So I knew it was something potentially electrical, and got the bike home by the skin of my teeth, cleaned it off, checked it all over, and couldn't find anything. Having done all the initial checks, and the bike fired up straight away on the button. It was running okay, but then when it was hot, it was starting to miss at times. Now I was thinking, is it CDI? What's going down? Or is it a bad stator? Did a voltage check, and it was a little bit down, but it was still showing charging. It was like 13.3, but still putting some voltage in. The battery was not going flat at all, and that's what I couldn't understand. So this was now to like 1 day before I was due to ride at Werndu Quarry, and I thought we'll just wing it. We'll take the bike there and we'll see what happens. I met my friend Neil there. We did some training with him. The bike was generally pretty good up until sort of lunchtime. Then occasionally it was a little bit hard to start. And then at the sort of latter part of the afternoon, when I was in the trees near the stream bed at Werndu, the bike stalled and I could not get it started again. Woo! Nearly there. I ended up wheeling the bike back to the van, down the hill, and taking it home. When I got it home, put the battery on charge. Once the battery was charged up, the bike fired up instantaneously, straight away. We then did a multimeter test again, and it was showing up to 13.4 volts. So it's still putting some in, but not enough really. When it should have been 14. And I did do a comparison with Neil's bike actually that morning to see what his bike was putting out, and it was over 14 volts. So I knew there was something not right. So things to check: stator, voltage regulator. Make sure all the earths are good. There's no breaks in wires in the loom. Checking the loom can be quite difficult, but it was really sort of puzzling me. So I couldn't find any breaks. All the continuity checks that I did, I then did resistance tests on the stator, and that showed that there's potentially a problem. So I ordered a new stator, and I also ordered a voltage regulator just in case to come at the same time. So we try and cover all bases. So what we've got here is our multimeter. As far as multimeters goes, it's not it's a decent one, but it's not a high-end one, but it will do what we need to do. So we've got our old stator there. I'm going to do a test, an ohm test between the two phases, the two charging coil phases, and just see what sort of reading we get. So in there, so we've got a reading there of 0.9. This is the bad one. Okay, and then we'll do a reading on the new one. I'm just trying to keep the camera from not wobbling too much. Hang on. So doing a test on the new one. So we've got a lower reading now. 0.2. So there's a difference there. So we'll now do a charging coil to earth. .9. Let's do the opposite phase. They're near enough the same. And then we'll do the old charging coil to earth. So you can see the reading there. We're not getting a reading at all. Yeah, so we're getting no reading, so that's showing that that one is faulty. So new stator on, compared the readings from the new stator to the old one, and it was quite obvious that there was a problem with the stator. With the stator on, we were still getting the same readings, so I changed the voltage regulator and we were still getting the same readings of 13.3 volts at the battery, and also at various points around the bike when I'm testing with a multimeter, from a live to an earth on various points of the bike. So I'm scratching my head and I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with this? Because it's a simple system. You've got a stator, voltage regulator supplying voltage to the battery, which then supplies voltage to the CDI, to the coil, and so on. So your thoughts about the CDI and the coil being iffy were sort of in doubt, because in essence they are separate systems, and from all the research that I've done, I couldn't find any evidence of there being a situation where a bad CDI had caused low voltage at the battery. But in the meantime, I spoke to James at GPX Motor UK. He agreed to send me up a CDI and a coil to test. I don't think he'd do that for everybody, but because I'm a friend, he did it for me, and I'm really grateful. But as it happened, we didn't actually need those parts. So whilst I'm waiting for them to come, I take the bike to Eurotech and start doing some more tests on the bike. At this point, we've got the bike totally stripped. Everything's disconnected from the wiring loom, and I start doing some testing around the start solenoid area, and I start finding some inconsistent readings with the start solenoid contacts. So the contacts here where the two main cables go on, I unscrewed them, or took the nuts off, and found that they had like steel washers on. So I replaced those with copper washers, and instantaneously we started getting some better readings. Not quite up to the 14 volts, but it was creeping up slowly. What do we have on the shelf at Eurotech? We had a KTM gas Husky start solenoid. So we fitted that to the bike, and it cured the problem straight away. So this particular start solenoid I've got here, that is the original GPX one. It was seen there's an issue with it where it's internally shorting, or it's losing its conductivity. But having replaced that with the KTM fitting one, by the way, it's not an OEM KTM part, it's a JMP one. It's resolved the issue totally, and the bike now runs as it should do. Revs out. So there you go, something as simple as that. When you look at the probable causes of getting low voltage at the battery, you've got to think about it logically. It's a straightforward system. Stator, is it putting the voltage out? Are the resistance readings correct on it? Is your voltage regulator okay? Have you got good earths? Is your battery in good condition as well? That's another thing. It is a quite straightforward system, but finding the actual root cause at times can be quite difficult, and a bit of patience and tenacity paid off. So yeah, that's it from me at the moment. I'm out the weekend in Wales riding, doing some adventure riding, and then next weekend we're at Werndu Quarry for a full weekend of hard enduro and the GPX event on the Friday as well. So there you go. See you soon, guys.